Hello everyone, I'm 10th Dr. Matt, and today I'm bringing you one of my most highly requested tutorials for the midnight hairstyle. Now this is one of my personal favorite hairstyles to do. It's pretty simple, but it's a little bit quirky, it's interesting, it's different than the other 10th Doctor hairstyles because it's more of a wet look, highly textured, but low volume. So this basically means we're going to be using more hair stick than usual to give it extra wet look, but that also means that we have to be careful in how we blow dry and how we apply our hard to get paste because the extra hair stick is also going to weigh our hair down and make it more prone to falling. So as usual, step one is to wash our hair, so let's get right into it. Alright, so how we actually blow dry our hair for this style is really important because like I said, it's low volume, but it's also high wet look, so it's gonna have extra weight to it. So basically, my method here is to blow dry the hair back to give it the roots some volume, and then I'm going to really hammer it forward. And the really important steps here, I'm going to basically blow dry each side of my hair towards the center like this. This hairstyle doesn't really have a whole lot of wispy stuff going on in the corners of the widow's peak. It's really all mostly going towards the center. So you really want to sort of hammer your hair into that shape with the blow dryer. And as you go along, you're going to want to blow dry it back a couple more times just to give the roots some sort of extra hold, but then really get it all going forward and towards the center just so it maintains the shape that you want. Alright, now we're going to apply our bedhead paste, and this step is really crucial on how long you let this stuff sit because, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to be using a little bit more of the hair stick than usual to give it that little extra wet look, and that in turn is also going to weigh our hair down and it's going to want to fall. So basically we're going to really make sure we massage this into the roots, and we're going to give it about 10 minutes to just set and really grab hold before we apply the hair stick. Now 10 minutes seems like a really long time, but I've been watching a lot of hairstyle videos by like BluMaan, and he mentioned that most men's hair products like pastes and waxes and that sort of stuff generally do take about 10 minutes to truly set and give you the real result that they're capable of. So I've experimented with that a little bit, and it does seem to hold true for the hard to get paste. So let's put that in there. Pretty much the usual amount here. Just really want to make sure that we massage this into the roots so that our hair has enough hold to stand up to the hair stick later. So once you've got this stuff worked in, you want to just basically flatten down the sides and the back so you don't have crazy stuff sticking up everywhere. But you're going to leave your hair mostly standing almost upright for now so that it can really grab hold of those roots. So since we've got about 10 minutes to spare while this stuff is drying, I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee, and I suggest you do the same. Alright, so now that we've had a little refresher, we're ready for the next step. So step 5 is the all-important hair stick, and so as I said, we're going to be using a little bit more than usual, but be careful. I would suggest that you start out with your normal amount and then add a little more and see how it goes, because really, I mean, if you take too much of this stuff, it's all over and your hair is just going to fall down. So I'm going to start out with my usual amount first. Now, the other little difference here, rather than just applying it to the ends of strands as I normally would, this we're going to go to town and go throughout basically our whole head. And obviously we're still going to want it on the ends of the strands, so we can do a little bit of this, but we really want it all over. I mean, his hair in this episode had the wet look going on everywhere. So I'm pretty well covered here. I think I could just use a tiny bit more up in this area, so I'm just gonna add just the slightest bit extra. So now we've got the right amount of product, we're gonna move on to styling, and this is the fun part. Now this style is interesting because it's fairly simple in terms of the shape, but it's pretty low volume, so there's not a whole lot of height to his hair. It's, you know, probably about medium height and very just forward. The whole thing is going forward. There's just the slightest bit of sort of left to right curve around the center, but not a whole lot. It's basically just, so I'm gonna start by tussling the sides to get them flat but also textured. And now while this whole thing is forward, there's not a whole lot of wispy action going on in the corners, so you want to kind of avoid that. A little bit is fine, but you don't want, you know, too much. So for the center, I'm just gonna go all the way back and try to kind of spread out my fingers and bring it all forward. The toughest part for me is not ending up with a faux hawk shape and having a more rounded, just kind of all over forward. My hair tends to want to go towards the center and end up like this, and we don't really want that for this style. So if you have that happening where like this area is kind of too flattened and is making a faux hawk type of thing, you can just do one of these to kind of wake it up and then start pulling it all forward again. So, and as we go, I'm kind of taking anything in the front that wants to fall outwards this way and just shaping it towards the center, really. And there are not a whole lot of low-hanging bits of fringe for this style either. It's pretty much like straight out. There's a little bit, you know, of course, with the natural weight of your hair, there's going to be a little bit that's falling down, which is fine. It looks pretty good, if you ask me. But this is the thing I like about this style, is that it's messy but still put together looking. So if it's a little bit more tussled and sticking out and crazy, it's still going to look the part. So once you've got it into the general shape, basically all you're going to do is nitpick now, and if you have any, you know, single strands that are sticking up out of place and need to be a little more uniform, you can just go ahead and fix those. So there you have it, the midnight hairstyle, and I am gonna say that I'm pretty happy with how mine turned out today. So now I'm gonna do something a little bit new, and I'm gonna try to spin around and not fall out of my chair so that you can get a 360-degree view of this hairstyle. Let's hope that this doesn't go badly. All right, we got there. I didn't fall out of my chair. So now that we've got the hair going, I think it's time to put on our Sunday best. Roast beef, bananas, shamble, bobble, dibble, dooble. So that does it for this hairstyle tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and allons-y. It's French. Let's go. Sky? Why are you repeating? What is that, learning? Rose Tyler, Martha Johnstone and Noble TARDIS.